Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to learn e-governance. In last lecture we already learned what do you mean by e-procurement, and again we are going to come across e-procurement with the help of e-governance. So we will see what is e-governance. Uh, Basically, e-governance, as its name, which expands itself as electronic governance. So, electronic governance is the integration of information and communication technology, which is called as ICT, with the all processes. And these processes are all processes are basically used to simplify the work of government, citizens, businesses, etc. So e-governance is used by these entities: government, citizen, businesses, different employees. In short, it is the use of electronic means to promote good governance. So it connects the implementation of information technology in the government processes and the functions so as to cause simple, moral, and accountable and transparent governance. Uh, might you might have heard about e-government. So e-government, which is we all usually use this e-government concept. That means it is the delivery of information and services by the government by electronic media, that is by the internet, for public usage, right? Uh, Take one example of e-government as all online access. That means all the information which is available online. You have heard already about AICT, so we can say this is e-government. Okay. So e-government and e-governance, these two are different concepts, and e-governance is more wider than e-government. Okay. So e-governance involves direct participation of all the citizens with the government in various activities, which includes all the political elements also. For example, e-voting, we always yearly we do all those things, e-democracy, etc. These are e-governance. That means government is using online services, e-services, for e-voting or democracy. So what might be the benefits of using e-governance? See, basically, you know what is the benefit of using e-government. E-government means which is very easy to use from any location throughout the world. It is accessible. You can sit at home and you can access government websites, right? So in same way, e-governance is having its own benefits. So here you can see the bright features about or benefits of e-governance. First is reduced corruption. Yes, this is the main point of if we'll talk about India only. So it is very important point, corruption. So here with the help of e-governance, corruption gets reduced. Take example of e-voting. So since it is e-voting, we can use electronic media to control repetitive voting. That means fraud voting. So with the help of that, we can maintain the transparency of voting. Then it is very convenient, right? That means we just go to the polling booth and we press the required button and we come back with the ink on our finger. So it is very convenient for all of us and for the government also. And because of all these things, GDP is going to increase. Now this is the question for you: what do you mean by GDP? And you are going to answer me what do you mean by GDP, okay, with the long form. Next is direct participation of constituents. Directly, government participate in the e-governance, as well as citizens can participate in the e-governance. So they are having direct contact with each other. And due to this, cost reduction is very much important. That means we are using very less resources and we are doing a great task online. And that is why government is expanded. So how to establish this e-governance, how to do all those things. Now we know what is e-governance. Now we know what are the benefits of e-governance, right? If you are not understanding, once again go back, and from the first slide you just hear this lecture once again. You will again come back to this slide, and you will come to know what is e-governance. Now how to do this e-governance, or how any company is implementing e-governance. Basically, if we'll see, e-governance or any kind of e-seva is very complicated. See, this is also one kind of seva, right? So it is very complicated. Why it is complicated? Because it needs variety of hardware and software with the networking um, hardwares. Okay, so this arrangement is very complicated, as we need different servers, large servers, different softwares to handle those servers, and strong network, so that we can handle a big data uh, on the server. Okay, and this is very complicated, and sometimes we need re-engineering of all the processes. That means the sequence of execution. You know what is re-engineering? We already learned re-engineering and all the processes. So if there was not e-governance, that means if there were governance only, that is not online, at that time processes were simple. That means those were manual processes. Manually everything was happening there, and manually we are maintaining some papers, and we are doing our task. But that is not a proper process for e-governance. When you are coming online, so it is not a process. That means we need to re-engineer the process. So start to end, we need to make some changes into the process, so that we can give better solution for, or better service for the customers, or we can say employees or citizens. So this is a type of governance. There are a lot of types of governance, e-governance. So the interaction which happens between government and the second party, another party can be anyone. So that interaction is dependent on the type, which type we are using. So as you can see on the slide, types are government to government. So in short form, always you will find it is written as G to G, G to C, that is government to citizen, government to business, government to employees. These are the basic types of e-governance. So somewhat in detail we'll see what is this government to government, government to custom, citizen, etc. So what is government to government? That means the e-governance is used by government, and the service provider is also government. Okay, so what are the features of government to government? It provides electronic sharing of data or the information between different government agencies. Okay, that means the data of Aadhaar card. Okay, data of Aadhaar card is used by uh, data of PAN card. So there is something syncing between the information. So government is using the government data of government. So this is G2G. It improves communication and data access between different government agencies. As I said, uh, IT department, that means income tax department, Aadhaar, then PF department, or any other services which are provided by the government. So these are interconnected with each other with the help of government to government. And the example here is given as standard operating environment. Okay, so this is G2G. Next we will see G2C, that means government to citizen. Citizen means like us, people like us. So to the left side you will see government, what kind of services are provided by the government, and what services are taken or used by the citizen. So middle are all the services provided by government to the citizen. So government, the services are provided by the government are online information application forms, healthcare, e-learning, travel and transport, employment, and the citizens. Who are the citizens? So, who citizens are different employees, unemployed people, taxpayers, voters, students, rural people, senior people, and who is the government? So, government is Home Ministry, Transport Ministry, municipality, police, courts, etc. So these are the roles which are coming from government and citizens are accessing via different services. So this is government to citizen. Government to business. Now government to business, that means government has to maintain their decorum over the businesses also. That means government has to uh, keep in track with the business. Okay, so if I'm having a business, definitely I need to register my business somewhere. And to register the business, we should register on something like SEBI or SEVA. Okay, so what are the roles of government to business type of e-governance? Timely business information, and which is very easy and convenient to have online access to the government agencies. Access relevant forms needed to comply. Platform on which transaction could be efficiently done. And example is any kind of enterprise or a business. Okay. Next is government to employees. Now government to employees are accessing different services. That means employees are accessing different services. Services are in the form of payroll service, healthcare service, security service, insurance, human capital, and some other services. Other services like PF, PPF, EPF. Okay, so these are the services provided by the government and used by the employees. So this is again comes under e-governance. So e-governance has a great role to play that improves and support all the tasks performed by the government department and agencies, because it simplifies the task on the one hand and increases the quality of work on the other hand. Why it simplifies the task? Because on one button you can access e-governance portals, different portals which are provided by e-governance, and because of this quality increases in the work, because work is uh, being completed within very less time, and we are utilizing the time for other task. Now we will see one example. See, here I am discussing this example because already in previous lecture you might have studied e-procurement, and now we are studying e-governance. So what is the combination between e-procurement and e-governance? That means how e-procurement is done on e-governance portals, right? So if you will see on this diagram, so this is a portal and which is provided by one company that is called as in technical language it is called as university. One company, one service provider who is providing this service, right? And there are different roles or components of that system. So what are the components? Flour mill. See, basically this example is about wheat procurement. Wheat procurement means what? Buying wheat from different agencies or different farmers. Okay, so this farmer is having his wheat to sell. This one is agriculture consultant who is going to check quality. This is warehouse where we are storing our grain, and this is the university or service provider, and all these are connected on e-governance portal. Okay, so basically what happens if we are not in this scenario, that means if we are not in e-procurement or e-governance, so this task might be done with the help